All right, Coach. Well, thanks for being with us this morning. I know you guys are getting ready to hit the road again for Acworth, just on the other side of downtown Atlanta. Going up there, of course, to play Alatoona in the Elite Eight state quarterfinals in Class 6A. And Coach, let's start with a little light question. I mean, you guys were basically on the road all last week up there in Atlanta. You left on Tuesday, did not get to play Westlake on Wednesday, played Westlake on Thursday, won two games, enjoyed the evening up there Thursday, came back Friday, and then you were gone again on Saturday to watch your son Tabor play up there in North Carolina at UNC Wilmington. And then, as you just mentioned before we came on air, got back late last night, just before midnight, and here you are getting ready to hit the road again with the Red Terrors. And I guess maybe a fair question is, are you tired yet?
No, I'm not. This is the time of the year that we live for, and if tiredness does creep in, adrenaline will take over. So no, I'll sleep good on the bus, and that was kind of the plan. So
I got you.
yeah.
And really, though, kind of along that line, I mean, you guys were gone all last week, played well, of course, on the road last Thursday. Didn't seem to have any travel effects in that series. I don't know what your guys did over the weekend when you got back. I would assume most of them stayed in town and enjoyed their family and friends with the Mother's Day weekend. But maybe some of them did what you did and left to visit family and whatnot. But are you worried at all, concerned at all that the travel may catch up with you guys sometime in this series?
No, I don't think travel is going to be a factor at all. We did open the facility last night. A couple of my assistants opened it up. We had numerous guys come in to get some work. Of course, we'll stop on the way up to Atlanta today and eat and then practice at Locust Grove High School, where one of my assistants was a former assistant. And if we can't get outside because of the weather, we got another place that we just down the road from Locust Grove. But the time away, with all due respect to academics and testing, helps the guys bond. You become more of a team, and sometimes it's fun to be on the road. I mean, we have a tremendous booster club, tremendous community support. And because of that, we're able to, spend this time and stay in a hotel and those kinds of things. And we don't take that for granted at all, but it really helps bond the team. And win or lose, I don't think it's going to be because of travel.
And Coach, you kind of touched on my next question. I mean, just kind of walk us through the basic routine from when you get on that bus this morning to head north. What's the routine for you guys from now until you take that field tomorrow for first pitch at 4:30 p.m.?
Yeah, that's a great question, because a lot of people don't understand, like, why would you leave the day before or whatever? And, baseball is a really long, drawn out process. Not only are we playing a double header, which each game is 2 to 2.5 hours with a 30-minute break in between. We have batting practice before that. It literally can turn into a 6.5 hour affair. And when you have the heat or whatever, even just the emotion, the adrenaline, the competitiveness, the focus, you just get worn down mentally and physically. So to try to add in a 6-hour bus ride, before you go do that, the games are too important to just assume that you could get on a yellow bus and, bounce up to Atlanta for 6 hours and then get off and do what I just described. I mean, that's not fair to ask the kids to compete. Nobody would do that at any level, and they don't do it in this state. The better programs don't do those kinds of things because they know that would be really putting your kids at a disadvantage. So today we're going to leave at 10, and we're going to 10 a.m. We're going to travel up, eat Sacheros and up there in Macon, and then head another hour north up to Locust Grove, get a full practice in at Locust Grove or an indoor hitting facility up there that we worked out last week on the way up if it's raining. And then we'll travel further up to the hotel, check in, give the guys an hour or so. We'll go eat dinner as a team, and then get a good night's sleep, get up, go eat breakfast, then go, work out again before the games tomorrow, the doubleheader tomorrow. And just FYI, there's a slight chance that we might be playing at Lake Point, slight chance, which are turf fields. Either Tuesday's doubleheader games, more likely if we split Wednesday's game, because they're having some rain issues again right now up there.
So they play on turf fields?
No, they don't. No, they play on.
Okay.
Yeah, so their high school, Altoona High School, is where we're supposed to play and will likely play. But in the event that the fields are unplayable, Lake Point is turf fields right there nearby, and we can move it there. That's been discussed a little bit, so just kind of know that that's a possibility.
I got you. Okay. Well, Coach, obviously a big story for you guys, I guess, late in the season, but certainly in the postseason has been the offense. You had over 30 hits in the series against Statesboro to wrap up the regular season, 27 hits in that 2-game sweep against Grovetown, and then I guess 22 hits the other day because you had 15 in game 1 when you beat Westlake 14-1, and then 7 more in game 2 when you won that game 6-5. And we talked about this after the game, and of course on our broadcast with Golden Isles Baseball, 912sports.net. By the way, shameless plug, we will be there Tuesday and Wednesday broadcasting the game. So I know this answer, but everybody, of course, around Southeast Georgia was not listening to our broadcast. But why this major turnaround late in the season for the Red Terror offense?
I really think it's been in us all along. We've been talking about it as a staff when we were going to break out, and the guys have put in so much work, Kevin. It's really, I mean, I know everybody says they work hard, but literally these guys have worked their tails off, at a level that is not common. And when you put in that kind of work, it really just comes down to having a few games where you have some really good offensive production, and hitting is contagious and winning is contagious. And, of course, you're going to come across an arm every once in a while that's going to shut you down. And then that's when the close games, you got to win that 2-1 type thing. But, Brady coming back in the lineup. I mean, we've had injuries, severe injuries. Guys have been out all year. I mean, a third of our lineup has been missing. We were missing Hank. Now he's not going to be back. So we lost Hank. We got Brady. Tyler Modis has stepped up and really provided a spark. We moved him to the top because he was giving us such competitive at-bats. So we moved him to the top, felt like he would compete. He'd get hit by a pitch. He'd walk. He'd get a hit. He'd put the ball in play and hustle. And then Brady, we knew from years past, of course, starting since he was a sophomore on varsity, he can't pitch, can't throw. So he's in a DH role. And, he's done what we felt like he would do, Kevin. He's provided that spark. And then the guys that were at, like Blake, that was leading off for 90% of the season, now is in the 3-hole. And so his hits are, providing production. And then Tyler, behind him, Tyler Devlin, who's a very good hitter, also, knocking in guys. And so it's worked for us, and then it's pushed the lineup back. It's like extended it, where we feel like we got guys that can compete in spite of still missing two. I mean, John Wise Long is done for the year. We haven't had him since like week 2. And then Hank is gone. He's got this blood clot, nothing to do with COVID or anything. That's got him sidelined with some heavy blood thinners that just will not allow him to compete. So, we're missing those guys, but we got Brady, and he's definitely provided a spark. And then the other guys are just kind of starting to click, and we're going to need that to continue to have a shot at beating Altoona. And, my experience tells me that this time of the year, anything can happen. I mean, you just go compete your rear end off and see what happens.
And Coach, let's talk real quick about Brady, because this is an amazing story. He's a senior. I don't want to dwell on his injury too much because, that is private business, but he did have Tommy John surgery. I don't want to minimize it, but that's not as devastating as it used to be, particularly for a young guy like him. I guess if it's going to happen, maybe it's better that it does happen at a young age. You would know more about that than me, but it's amazing that he is able to come back and hit. He can't pitch or play defense, and I know that's certainly something you would have liked to have had him doing all along. But
Right.
man, I mean, he came back with a vengeance. Certainly at the end of the regular season, but that Grovetown series, he had 3 hits in game one. The other night against Westlake, 4 hits in game one. I don't think they got him out but one time all afternoon. And he's hitting in the top of the order. And you talked about what he does as far as extending the lineup, and that's sort of a physical thing. But he wouldn't brag on himself too much the other night after the game. But I don't know whether it's motivational, inspirational, or whatever. But I feel like the guys are maybe feeding off him because he's one of those that goes out there and does that thing like there. Do you feel like all the guys are maybe feeding off him?
Absolutely, yeah. As I mentioned, hitting's contagious, and when guys are barreling balls up, it provides confidence to the ones that are coming up behind them. It's a phenomenon. Not really sure why it happens. Confidence, the mental side, and yeah. So we obviously lost Brady. He got hurt in a showcase in December, and trying to better his college opportunities. You can't blame him for that, and we never really thought we'd have him back. And I saw him starting to swing the bat probably a month ago in the cages. And I talked to him. He said, yeah, they're letting me do some controlled type stuff now. And of course we got the clearance. And then the real clearance came, during the Statesboro series when we were told that he would be able to actually swing a bat in a live scenario and run the bases. And that was exciting because, Brady won our Terror Award as a sophomore, which is the guy that represents our program in every way, shape, or form the best possible, whether it be in the classroom, the community, the weight room, practice, work ethic, off season, everything. And he's just a competitor. He's a little guy, but people, they overlook him. And if we had him on the mound, we would have won another 5-6 games this year, and no doubt in my mind. But that doesn't mean anything right now. John Wise, same way. Right. So you got a kid who's committed to Chapel Hill, who's a left-handed pitcher, center fielder, power, speed. He might be the fastest player on our team, he and Ty. So we've lost, a lot. And then Hank is an athlete. So all those guys, but Brady's back and he has provided a spark, and we're going to need him to do it again. I mean, there's no secret to any of this. When you're in the Elite Eight, your best players have to step up and perform. If they don't, you're going home. So, but I think we'll rise to the occasion.
And coach, real quick on the pitching, I know your depth certainly has been hurt there. I know you'd like to have some more options, whether it's starting or guys to work in situational spots in relief. But you do have two good guys that are starting right now in Tom Eccles and Blake Wood, and then of course Sean Munoz has been a starter this year, kind of forced into that duty and did a great job there. Now you got him coming out of the bullpen. Following those two starters, he could be your game 3 starter if you were to get extended to a third game, which has not happened yet. But those 3 guys right there have certainly been bulldogs for you in their own kind of way, right?
Yeah, I mean, Tom has really stepped up. I mean, early on, he was inconsistent. And then the South Effingham series, which was our first region series, which we swept South, of course, our region champion. So we swept them 3 games, and Tom pitched game 3, and he just came alive. Like, that was the most exciting thing. Winning the game was great, but we literally walked away going, okay, he's our guy. He's our 3 guy for sure. If not, we can move him to 1 or 2 or whatever. And he's been, knock on wood, fairly consistent like that the whole year. I mean, his confidence grew that day. I think he had a lot to prove to his teammates, and he did that. And then it's just kind of springboarded from there. And so, yeah, Blake is a guy, of course. Last year, that was a dominant force for us pitching, and he's going to compete his rear end off. And, and then Sean's going to do what Sean does. But, we really have to, those pieces of the puzzle are delicate, and we have to really be careful how we play them. And, as a fan, when you're watching, it may not be totally apparent how critical it is that we literally play those cards right, from pitch count perspectives to momentum perspectives to effectiveness perspectives. I mean, we make one move and a guy's having a bad day, it might not be recoverable. So, so far it's worked for us. And like I say, I mean, the guys got to step up and perform. And if they don't, you're in the Elite Eight. You're not gonna win if you're not clicking on all cylinders. So,
Well, as you know, you have your work cut out for you here. So
yeah, no
let's
doubt.
look at this Alatoona team, Coach. I know you know all about it, but I think they're 29-5. They went 15-1 in a loaded region where we have two teams in the quarterfinal round. You and South Effingham. They have three themselves. Pope, which beat Almighty Buford, #1 team in the country, and in 6A, and then also Lassiter, which of course down from 7A into 6A now, and they're still alive. And then Lassiter was the only team to beat them, by the way, in region play. So it looks like they're an offensive juggernaut, batting .342 as a team. They hit 19 home runs. Got two kids, I think, batting over 400. I guess their top pitcher has 9 wins and a 1.50 ERA. But Coach, I know you got the scouting report on Alatoona, so it sounds like to me you're walking into a hornet's nest. I know you guys can handle it, but how do you measure up against this Alatoona team, you think?
Well, it's coach speak and it's real. Okay, what you have to do is simple. You have to be able to, everything you just said, you got to be able to brush it away and focus on one pitch at a time. Nameless, faceless opponents. You can't get hyped up on all the accolades, all the stats. You literally go compete. When they hit a ground ball, you field it. When they hit a fly ball, you run it down. When you're on the mound, you throw strikes, you mix it up. When you're at the plate, you compete your rear end off. You execute when your third base coach asks you to perform an execution skill. Otherwise, you get the ball in play and fight your rear end off. That's it. When you can simplify it down to that, it takes all that other stuff and just, and it doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes a team is that dominant or you have a bad day. Baseball, anybody that's watched it long enough, you'll see a major league team. I went to see the Braves-Yankee game about 3 years ago, and the Yankees got beat the worst they've ever been beat by the Red Sox. It was like 21-1 or something. This is a major league players, okay? So, but that formula works. It's worked not only for me, but for others, but the teams I've coached in the past. I've been in numerous series over the years where we were outmanned, outgunned, whatever you want to say, and we came out victorious in a 3-game series. So it's not because of me, it's because of the players, and they have to perform and literally be able to boil it down. Because if you get caught up in all that hype, you just lose focus. And when you lose focus, you're done.
Well, Coach, I mean, just what is your basic scouting report on this team? Then you heard what I said about as far as the hype. What is your coach's scouting report on this team?
Yeah, that's very accurate. We feel like they have 2 or 3 guys that are standouts. The rest are very solid players, role players that do a great job at their role. They have some serious college prospects. They got some couple guys with some serious power. I mean, they basically do what you would expect an Elite Eight team to do. They can adjust their game based on what's happening. So they can go to small ball. I think they used a couple squeeze plays to win this last series. They can hit the long ball. They can run the bases if they have to. They'll take advantage of whatever the other team's allowing them to do, which, we're going to try to do the same thing, exploit whatever we see. So they're the real deal. We know they're the real deal. We'd like to think that we're the real deal. So, we've prepared. We've played a lot of tough opponents. I think we've played a few teams that are as good as these guys. So that should help. And we're just going to go step between the lines and see if we can't win 2 ball games.
And Coach, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how everybody in 6A feels about it. But, of course, Buford is going home with that 29-win team, undefeated in the regular season. They were trying to win the state title undefeated. I don't know that the field was giving it to them, but a lot of folks in my world was giving it to them, and they're gone. So Carrollton's gone. Of course, a lot of good teams left that are still alive, and Alatoona being one of those. All these teams from this same region being one. We've got two that are still in the thing. Houston County sitting over there in the Final Four on your side of the bracket as well. That they're very good. So. Do you kind of feel like this thing is wide open, or did you feel like maybe it was wide open from the beginning, even though Buford was the lead dog?
Yeah, I would say Buford was the heavy favorite, just because they're so talented. But that's a perfect example right there. I mean, if you need proof of anything can happen, look at Pope Buford in the Sweet 16. I mean, who would have said this might be the best Buford team, and anybody that doesn't know Buford needs to understand just how dominant this program has been. I mean, literally, they throw out 5 Division I pitchers. Every player on defense is a Division I player or college player commit. I mean, they're that deep. It's ridiculous. And Pope was able to win 2 out of 3 at Buford. So, I would say they were certainly the favorite. It helps to have them gone. But, winning a state championship is not on my mind right now. Winning the Elite Eight is, and, and that's where you have to be. You have to be where your feet are. And, I don't have all the answers, Kevin. I'm not, the best coach in the world, but I have been through this before, numerous times. And, you really have to focus on the task at hand and not start looking, there. Because honestly, the biggest challenge is winning that doubleheader. Like, you win game 1, the players feel like they've already won it, and very often it's a split, especially with good teams. Or if you get bashed in game 1, being able to regroup and get focused and win that second game to extend it to the third game. There's so many mental components that go into this. And, our guys haven't been to the Elite Eight in 31 years, but we're not content with just being there. We're going to go up there and try to win this thing.
Sounds good, Coach. Well, look forward to seeing you guys up there tomorrow. Safe travels today. We certainly appreciate your time, because I know things are probably a whirlwind this morning, even though they looked relaxed in your office there. But you guys try to have a good trip up there, enjoy yourselves, and get some sleep on that bus. And we'll see you up there in the big city tomorrow. Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate all the coverage that you guys have gave us. You've done a fantastic job. Like I said, the community support is tremendous, and Brunswick High School and Glenn Academy are fortunate to have guys like yourself and 912 Sports that cover us, and of course the paper, the local paper that cover us. And we really appreciate it. I know the guys do. And it lets the community know that, we have real baseball down here, and it keeps getting better. Our region is better than when I first got here. It's certainly deeper. And I just feel like baseball in general, with Coach Roberts over at Brunswick, doing a great job. Nothing against the former staff. Things are on the rise in our community, and you guys are helping to promote that. And, for people that like baseball, it's a chance to come out and really see some good high school baseball.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach. And in our next magazine, we don't know how the season's going to turn out. Unfortunately, we have to go to deadline, but 10 GHSA teams in our coverage area in the Elite Eight, and 11 if you count GISA school Robert Toombs. So that's pretty strong. The most since 2017, and the most really going way back before that. So hopefully somebody, including you guys, are going to go a step further, and maybe some more are going to go even further than that. So we'll just see how it all turns out.
And we've played a lot of those teams. So
that's right.
Yeah. So hopefully that prepares us for this. So hopefully next time we speak, we're talking about the Final Four. That would be outstanding.
There you go. All right, Coach. Well, go get on that bus, and we'll see you up there tomorrow. We certainly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, bye-bye.